What's up, everybody? Jordan Stewart here from Vover. Thanks so much for tapping into the Vover original show. Just a reminder that if you want to drop your opinions about the episode or respond to the host and guests with your voice, go and download the Vover app wherever you get your apps. Vover, voice over everything. Enjoyed the show.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Vover NFL Show. It's your host, Drew from Cover32, and today we have a battle, a one-on-one for fantasy football. We've been getting a lot of listener questions, and today one of the good questions that came in for us, who would you rather have, or who should I take first between these two receivers, Stefon Diggs of the Buffalo Bills or Calvin Ridley of the Atlanta Falcons? So really good question. They're both pretty close in ADP. To each other. So we'll break down both of the players, how they played last season, the differences between these two players and the two offenses, and then I will give you the pick that I would take, the player that I would take at that spot. So we'll start with Stefon Diggs. Of course, last year was his breakout campaign with the Buffalo Bills in a new offense with Josh Allen at quarterback. So last year his number is 127 catches, 1,535 receiving yards, with 8 touchdowns, average of 12.1 per reception. So definitely was getting all of the targets from Josh Allen, a real target monster there. 127 catches. So that is definitely some volume there, and definitely wide receiver one numbers. And for Calvin Ridley, last season, 90 catches for 1,374. And 9 touchdowns, and a little bit more on per average, yards per average, 15.3 for Calvin Ridley. So going back to Stefon Diggs, the Buffalo Bills have now turned into a pass-first offense. They of course have Cole Beasley. They just added Emmanuel Sanders. They have Gabriel Davis. So they do have some weapons outside of Stefon Diggs, but it is clear, especially from last season, that Josh Allen's favorite target is Stefon Diggs. And he is considered one of the, if not the best route runner in football. So even when he's not open, he's open. He can make guys miss right off of the line. He can get downfield and do a move that would get him open at the end of the route. He's just basically a surgeon out there when it comes to route running. So Stefon Diggs is always open. He's got good hands, of course, and has speed as well. So, and then Calvin Ridley, kind of the same thing. He's a great route runner. I wouldn't say as good as Stefon Diggs, but he definitely has big playability, and he also is always open. Has a really good catch radius, and playing alongside Julio Jones last year, still was able to get 90 catches for 1,300 yards and 9 touchdowns. So what my pick would be between these two guys would probably very slightly be Calvin Ridley, and here's why. I'll give you the reasons why. Calvin Ridley now in that Atlanta offense without Julio Jones. Julio Jones, of course, has gone to the Tennessee Titans. Is basically his wide receiver group. He is the number one, the alpha, whatever you want to call it. Calvin Ridley is now Matt Ryan's number one target. And we started to see that even a little bit last year with Julio Jones on the field. He was still putting up great numbers with Julio right next to him. And even the season before that, in 2019, he had 63 catches for 866 and 7 touchdowns. So it wasn't like he was kind of a slouch until Julio Jones got out of the picture. But now that he is, and last year, although Julio Jones did miss some games, he still had 90 catches. Calvin Ridley is going to go berserk this year. I think he easily goes over 90 catches. I think he goes over 1,300 yards, and I think he goes over 9 touchdowns. This is going to be, he could finish as wide receiver one, in my opinion. The volume's going to be there. The Falcons are not going to be a good team, especially defensively. And when a team is not good defensively, that means that they're going to be throwing the ball a lot offensively because they're going to be playing catch-up. And then if you look at the Bills, of course, there's not a whole bunch of disparity when it comes to the talent between Stefon Diggs and Calvin Ridley. But I just think that the Bills are the much better team at this point. And when you factor that into getting a receiver the ball all of the time, getting that type of volume, of course, it's still going to be, the volume's still going to be there. Just the ceiling is just not as high, I don't think, as Calvin Ridley's is. They're going to be up in most games, I believe. So they're going to start off scoring the ball, but eventually they're going to get up in games and not have to throw it as much as you would think. So I think the targets may drop a little bit for Stefon Diggs. And of course, as I mentioned, the talent is not the question here. It's really the opportunity. And some might argue that, okay, well, the Falcons got Kyle Pitts, number 4 overall in the draft. He's going to replace Julio Jones, and then all of the Julio Jones targets now get filtered to Kyle Pitts. That is not the case. We got to remember, guys, Kyle Pitts is still a rookie tight end. Although he's probably the best rookie tight end we've ever seen come out of the draft, prospect-wise, he's still a rookie tight end. Tight ends don't usually get going into that elite fantasy option until about year 3 or 4. Could he change that? Of course, but right now, I'm not going to say that he is going to fill Julio Jones' shoes and be the number 1 or number 2 target immediately in the Falcons' offense. So when it comes to Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts, I'm not worried about Kyle Pitts stealing targets from Calvin Ridley. He's easily the number 1 target, and he might be behind Devontae Adams. He might get the most looks in the league, if not the most. So, I would completely go Calvin Ridley, and it's not by much, but I just think the volume is absolutely insane for him. And Stefon Diggs is right behind him. You can't really go wrong with either of these guys. I just think that the ceiling is a little bit higher for Calvin Ridley, especially if you're playing PPR. He's going to get a lot of catches. He can play in the slot. He can play outside. He can basically do whatever, and they're going to be down a lot. They're going to throw it to him a lot. So I would go Calvin Ridley on this one, guys. And that is it. We'll do another versus, I guess you could say, next week. This was kind of fun. So Cover32, if you guys are listening to us on YouTube, following us on Instagram, keep sending in those questions as your drafts come up. We'll be happy to answer them and make sure we'll share them also on Vover Audio. Make sure you guys go follow us on that as well. And we'll catch you guys on the next Vover NFL show. This is Drew from Cover32. Have a good one.
Vover!